Hey, this is Didi, and today I wanted to do another video in the woods, this time talking about why I, as a spiritual person, don't eat meat or fish. Now, before we start, make sure that you subscribe to my channel, click the bell notification, like the video, all that good karma stuff. Anyways, I was born into a meat-eating culture in Eastern Europe where everything is basically revolving in kitchen around meat and potatoes, and even whatever is being baked, they try to bake as much meat into it as possible, right? So growing up in that, then around my teenage years, like 15, 16, I became a Christian, and they have philosophy that if the Lord, quote unquote, has created something, then that is basically for us to use. So that animals and fish is basically there for us to eat. So I lived with that, etc. And then I would, after I kind of distanced myself from religion, I got into all kind of healthy eating systems. For example, I would eat paleo, and then I would eat also sometimes kind of vegan, which is almost like opposite, but like raw vegan and stuff. And it was kind of what I would do for detox. And then and so it went on, and at one point I was doing keto, and then when I had my spiritual awakening in 2017, I switched to what I would describe a vegetarian keto. Would be a lot of salads, but the protein would be cheese or eggs. And at that time I was living in Costa Rica in a very high vibration area in the jungle and on the ocean, and it was pretty awesome. So I really had great strides during that period of time, and then like as a spiritual person, and then I came back to New York, and I got back into lower vibration kind of like lifestyle, which is very stressful, eating, drinking, late night parties a lot. And at one point, about a year later, I heard these philosophies that actually animals have feelings, in a sense that they feel fear, they know that they're going to be slaughtered, they try to avoid being slaughtered, they feel some bond to their offspring and stuff like that. And basically that pigs would have higher intelligence than dogs, and it would be like 2 or 3 year old kids intelligence. And it's very sad basically when you feel these when somebody feels these emotions, and then they being slaughtered with these emotions, they all being released within themselves, so basically in their flesh. So I heard about that, and I had a thought about it. I mean, obviously I've heard it before, but at that time, I kind of 2018-ish, end of it, it started to really register more. And I also read about that if you try not eating meat and fish for 30 days, you kind of basically break through the matrix programming, and you release yourself from being pre-programmed as an entity to exist on this planet. So I wanted to try that because I really wanted to have visible changes in my life. So I did that, and then I kind of went back to meat for about a month or 2 months, and then I went twice to Caribbean to meditate. It was like 2019 in February and in March. And the first time when I went in February, I still ate meat. And then I came back and I was like, no, I don't want to eat. I don't feel like eating meat anymore, right? Because I was there meditating twice a day, sometimes 3 times a day for 1 week. And then I came back like 3-4 weeks later, and I continued with my meditations. And at that time, I already didn't want to eat meat at all. And so I spent the vacation just in meditation and eating what they call vegetarian food. I don't really like these labels, vegan, vegetarian, whatever. It's just like humans like to organize everything: omnivore, vegetarian, vegan, carnivore, this diet, that diet. So I just consider myself a person who just doesn't eat meat and fish. So After all of this, I had kind of a confirmation that this was actually helping me to break through the matrix programming and actually ascend my life to a better position. So I had at that point, I felt spiritually stuck, and then once I quit meat and fish, I got unstuck. It was just like an inner feel. Second, I was having an issue with one of my jobs where I was stuck for like 6 years on and off, and that relationship ended in a very interesting way, and it was amazing. Yeah, and it was very relieving to have other things, better things, replace this particular employment opportunity. And then I also was stuck in a living situation and in a relationship situation where I wanted to get out because it was absolutely getting toxic. So, and that resolved within 2 months, right? So I came back. I already had a plan, but I just needed about 2 months to, actually no, it was like 6 weeks to get organized and complete the process to improve the whole thing. And yeah, it was a new chapter in my life, and to be honest, I feel much better. And the thing is, once you have this revelation for yourself, within yourself, that you don't want to eat meat anymore or fish, you don't anymore crave it. So you are not walking around looking for quote unquote substitutes, right? Because that part of food offering just doesn't exist for you. And for me, it's basically, I learned a lot from a certain cooking show. I had to be part of it as a team behind the scenes, and it's just like, it's all about ingredients, how you approach them. For example, if you look at the cuisine, generally speaking, the meat eaters would just basically say, so we have beef, right? So this is now the center of the dish. But now as a vegetarian, so-called, like the vegetarian, like you can say, now cucumber or spinach is the center of my dish. So it's basically a shift in your thinking, how you approach cooking and how you approach food in general. So you're not walking around looking for something that replaces meat. The meat as such just doesn't exist in your consciousness. Like it exists, you know it exists, but for you, food-wise, you don't need to have something like meat or meat itself as the center of your dish. You don't have the craving. The craving is gone, right? So somebody would offer me meat right now. I don't judge anyone, but I'm like, dude, no. Sorry, I just don't eat, right? I just don't eat meat. I just don't eat fish. And then it's interesting, you know. Yeah, and I intend to keep this high vibe up. And it's great. So spiritual people, it's kind of ties into it. Spiritual people ask themselves, yeah, how is it going to impact my day-to-day life? It could impact, because there's some people who get, trust me, real mad about the fact that you dare not to eat meat. It doesn't really disturb them personally, because you don't live with them. You don't, you're not many times even related, but they like to get in your face about why you don't eat meat and that it's stupid to not eat meat. Or they basically laugh in your face. And there are people on the dating scene who think that if you don't eat meat, that is a red flag. It's a major red flag. And yeah. So how you deal with that, you just ignore it and move on. And it ties again in this idea that people search for purpose. And let's say you're a spiritual person, you find yourself evolving and raising your vibration. You ask yourself, yeah, what's the point of my life actually? Because like, I am not Elon Musk, I'm not a major some sort of like sports person or music person, I'm not changing history as it's written in history books and stuff like that. So what's the point of my life? I'm here just some person who meditates and is on their spiritual path. So what's the point of your life is that you raise your vibration and that you just be yourself, doing your thing. It impacts the vibration of others around you. So, and sooner or later, people's vibrations start to raise. And sometimes you move to different environments and you start this work all over where you're at. So it's pretty much how it goes. And also in regards to not eating meat or fish, it's pointless to really argue with anyone. You're not going to change anybody's mind, trust me. Yeah, so that's basically why I, as a spiritual person, don't eat meat. I'm again in the woods, not too deep, but it's getting dark soon, so I'm gonna go out now. All right, leave me a comment and tell me how your experience has been with not eating meat as a spiritual person. Do you eat meat, etc.? Yeah, that's about all. I'll see you next video. Cheers.